Welcome in to the Bobby Carpenter Show, and super excited to be with you here today. We're waiting on our guy Schlegs. He is working really hard to get his internet. He's out there spinning the internet, getting it going. But in the meantime, we got our guy on a Thursday here, Mr. Ben Stevens, best in the business. He's out on the West Coast now. He's got some stuff behind him, so it doesn't look like he is a Taliban prisoner anymore. No. So I'm feeling good about that. He's on the West Coast, so he's got a little more color on his face, getting a little sun. Feeling good, not as pale. I mean, Ben, I'm going to be honest. That dark hair started getting a little pale in the winter. I was worried about seasonal depression. You just went to a wedding, which the big debate always is how big of a football fan are you if you're getting married during the fall? And I contend that I don't really enjoy those.
Right.
But you had to go. Obviously, you were not. It wasn't your choice. Hopefully, you choose not to get married during the fall.
Never.
But you said you sat there and you were watching, college football all day. And so the big question I always have is, if you're choosing to get married in the fall, you want people to come and enjoy the party, which that's the reception is. You've spent a lot of money on a big party. Are you narcissistic enough to think hey, this is all about me, not as the groom? It's usually the wife, the woman of honor that day. And if not, you want people to stay. Was there TV viewing opportunities at the reception?
No TV viewing opportunities at the reception. But the wonderful thing about the technology that we have in today's day and age is YouTube TV works like a charm on your phone, right? So we were paying attention to Michigan, Oklahoma, because the groom went to Michigan and many of his friends went to Michigan. So we had that up and ready. We were paying attention to Barry Odom starting 2-0 against Southern Illinois, the first Boilermakers head coach to do that in more than a century, to start his tenure in West Lafayette perfect at 2-0. And Bobby, I'm not going to pat myself on the back all that much. I love my friends, right? They understand if they are booking a fall wedding that my attendance is up in the air. And if I am in there and I am present, there's going to be some distractions at times, checking scores, watching the game, maybe firing off a tweet or two. And so I think that as I'm trying not to pat myself on the back all that well, the distractions I minimize because I'm a pretty good multitasker. I can fire off a tweet about Barry Odom starting 2-0. I can fire off a tweet with doing a little research about South Florida starting 2-0, both against ranked foes, and the Bulls hadn't beaten a ranked opponent since the start of the 2016 season. I can do all of that and yet still be the first one out on the dance floor enjoying a beverage.
Here we go. We got our guy Schlegs in here. Ben was just at a wedding. We were talking about how he was consuming some of these games because I'm with you. I go to my kids' games now, and unless I'm coaching, I mean, we've got the game up. Heck, when I'm at games, I was at the Ohio State game last week, not really all that competitive, Ben. So we've got other games up, and I'm watching OU and West Virginia, which – that game was definitely inside the number, and it was an upset straight up on the money line. You cashed in big if you took the Bobcats. Are you surprised that the line – because people ask me, what do you think the line will be next week? Well, they almost beat Rutgers. They beat West Virginia. They didn't even look great in the second half, which I don't know if that's an indictment on West Virginia's offense or a benefit of OU's defense. But, I'm seeing this line around 33 points – Ben, for the Battle of Ohio. You surprised that the line is that high?
Not necessarily, Bobby, just because of how Ohio State is rated in terms of all the algorithms and the models and the power ratings for the reigning national champs, who certainly looked the part in week number 1 against the number 1 team in the country. That defense really carrying the water and being the consistent side. And we thought they would open it up offensively against Grambling. And that's exactly what we saw as Julian Sand continues to get his feet wet as the starter for this Buckeyes offense and has all the talent that you could ever dream of as a quarterback around him. So not necessarily surprised to still see this near 5 touchdowns. For instance, the Rutgers game in Piscataway against Ohio, the Scarlet Knights were a 3-score favorite, laying 17.5. Now, of course, the Bobcats were well within that number. We had a tied football game early in that fourth quarter at 31-all. And I thought one of the really interesting things about Ohio, with Tim Albin leaving last offseason, and of course is now the head coach at Charlotte. This is a Bobcats team that won the MAC a year ago. This is a Bobcats team that I think was one of 6 when I tweeted this out last December, maybe one of 5 to win 10-plus games in 2 consecutive seasons at the FBS level, along the likes of teams like Ohio State, like Georgia. That was the consistency that Ohio had. And Bobby, when you look around the MAC and you look around a lot of the group of 5 conferences, these teams, these programs were depleted by the transfer portal this offseason and off seasons prior. The MAC was the most hard-hit league across the country in terms of almost being a minor league system to elevate to those power conference programs, except for 2 programs that, at least by standard in the Mid-American Conference, had more returning production than most. And in my opinion, it's probably going to be the MAC championship game in Detroit in early December, Toledo and Ohio. And anytime, especially at this level, you have a returner at the quarterback spot as Parker Navarro is back, Ohio can be dangerous. I'm not surprised by the line, but I also would not be stunned if Ohio stays within the number in the battle against the Buckeyes.
Hey, I'm going to ask you this because now we're already into week 3. How'd you do last week?
Because of the fact that I was in Wisconsin, not a legal sports betting state, and the fact that I'm now living in California, and we're not going to talk about the legality of certain wagers shared or not, I didn't have a lot of action. I did, however, have a few thoughts about what would occur in some of these games. I thought USF would stay within the number. They went outright. I thought Illinois would make a statement on the road in Durham against the Blue Devils. Of course, they absolutely hammered Duke, improving my thoughts about the Illini throughout the offseason. They can be a 10-win team for a second straight season and get to the college football playoff. So for me, Schlegs, it was more so some of the thoughts as opposed to some of the bets. And of course, as we shared last week, a man must have principles in his life. So you must always bet the under in the Cy-Hawk game, even if the total is north of 40 pregame. And sure enough, Iowa and Iowa State delivered. And the Clones look like a front runner right now in the Big 12. When you have that returning production and the valuable experience of the QB spot, as Rocco Becht has provided for Iowa State, even losing his top 2 wide receivers who are now playing with the Houston Texans and a majority of his offensive line from a season ago, Rocco Becht hasn't missed a beat.
Got some big games this week. And since you kind of touched a little bit there, returning quarterbacks, these teams, neither of them have returning quarterbacks. And, Wisconsin, they're struggling to I don't know if I would – if you're a Wisconsin quarterback, Ben, you might get hit by a train, not even on the train tracks. The luck that they've been having is brutal. Alabama 21.5. And I know they looked good last week, but against Florida State, there were some serious issues. This is in Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
What are we thinking about this one?
It's a really interesting question, Bobby, because this 21-point spread, at least dating back to 2010, when some of these gambling odds databases go all the way back, this is the largest underdog the Badgers have ever been. Wisconsin's only been a dog 36 times since the start of the 2010 season. And if we want to talk about Luke Fickell and how things have gone in Madison, and at times an uneasy time during his 2+ years there now as the full-time head coach, the Badgers have been booked as a dog 9, now make it 10 times under Luke Fickell. A quarter of the times Wisconsin has been booked as a dog has come in the last year and a half or so with Luke Fickell at the helm of this program. So, Bobby, for me, it's a really interesting game where I always thought Alabama would get to the college football playoff this year because I believe in Kalen DeBoer, and that belief has taken a few hits, but I believe in how talented the defense is for the Crimson Tide, bringing along Ty Simpson as they start to figure things out offensively. And obviously, much like with Ohio State, they have great weapons on the outside, Jeremy Bernard, the returner, and Ryan Williams, one of the best wideouts in the country. I thought losing Jam Miller in the offseason, when he returns, will be fascinating. Wisconsin has been incredibly stout defensively with Mike Tressel. And I think if you are a Wisconsin fan that has believed you can go to T-Town and at least keep this game tightly contested and competitive this weekend, you are relying on the defense, and you are thinking Alabama does the same. What I will say about Danny O'Neal, though, stepping up in this spot for the injured Billy Edwards, looks so much more comfortable in the second half of that game against Miami, Ohio. Looks so much more comfortable as the game progressed last week against Middle Tennessee State. I thought Wisconsin would go over their team total of 41.5. They eventually got there, scoring 42 points after a slow and sluggish start offensively. For me, guys, it's about that defense for the Badgers staying within this number. I'm going to trust that they do so. Alabama can still win this game by 14+. I think Wisconsin's defense is good enough and has proven that so far through 2 games. I guess I get it, against much less competition than they will see with that Alabama offense coordinated once again by Ryan Grubb. But I think Wisconsin stays within the number. Am I calling for an outright upset? By no means. I'm not even sure this game is within a single score or even within 2 touchdowns. But I think Wisconsin stays within that 21-point spread based on the defense. And if that's the case, I would lean under as well on Saturday afternoon.
I got 2 games, and I don't know where I stand as like this betting guy, because you're the expert. But I want to think I'm getting better.
Please, give yourself credit, man.
New Mexico at UCLA.
Oh,
UCLA is terrible. Listen, I'm looking for the value. Ben, you got me looking for value. Okay, and then And then you also have USC going to Purdue. Purdue's I'm like 21.5 for USC. And I don't know if these are right because I got them a couple days ago. UCLA minus 15.5.
Yeah.
I mean, New Mexico at least put up a fight versus Michigan week 1. They won last week. UCLA has looked absolutely terrible.
Awful.
And then you got USC. I don't know what they are. They played nobody. And then they're going to Purdue. Are they a little bit better? What are your thoughts on there? Is there some value that I'm seeing in those matchups?
First off, Anthony Schlegel, my guy. Friday night, late night West Coast action ahead of a Saturday when you're talking about the Bruins and the Lobos inside the Rose Bowl. I think one of the reasons New Mexico stayed competitive in the Big House against Michigan is because of their head coach, Jason Eck, who did incredible things during his time with Idaho, an Idaho team that almost won against Oregon outright to start off 2024. A creative offensive mind, as we saw with the trick plays. I mean, that game being within 2 touchdowns, within multiple scores in the second half in Ann Arbor was a little bit shocking. And I expect New Mexico to do the same. Now, I have questioned UCLA. I don't love Nico Iamaleava as a quarterback. He's been okay at times, slightly inconsistent. The Bruins were a really good underdog team last year. 3 of their final 5 games in the Big Ten, winning outright, booked as a dog in all 3. The defense was really good up front. That's starting to take a step back. And that's what Jason Eck's offenses are going to challenge you with some of that creativity on the ground. 15.5-point spread, Schlegs. I think New Mexico keeps this game close within 2 touchdowns. If UCLA does win and cover, I think it will ease the waters a little bit in Westwood as they start to move forward into Big Ten action throughout the remainder of their calendar. USC Purdue. What a time it's going to be in Ross-Ade. They welcome back Drew Brees. They welcome back the 2000 Rose Bowl team, the atmosphere. I mentioned Barry Odom, the first Boilermakers head coach to start his career, his tenure in West Lafayette, a perfect 2-0 since 1916. That's 109 years ago, and they should be excited. But now I think Purdue kind of gets back to where we expect them to be, a 3-4 win football team. They've got 2 of those 3 or 4, which they absolutely had to have. But the Boilers now have USC and Notre Dame in back-to-back weeks. And I'm really intrigued, Schlegs, to see what the Trojans provide because the offense has been sensational. And that's what Lincoln Riley offenses look like with a quarterback in complete control, which is what Jaden Maiava has been. Mekhi Lemon on the outside has been one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers so far in the Big Ten Conference in 2025. Schlegs, I'm hoping Purdue and Ryan Brown, who has been really good offensively to start off this season, can provide a punch to score 10, 14, 17 points against a really improved Trojans defense, which is going to be the key for SC to get to 8, 9, 10 wins this year under second-year defensive coordinator Danton Lynn. My lean for the game inside Ross-Ade, over 59.5. I think we see some points on Saturday between the Boilers and the Trojans, who, by the way, that side, both represented on the new Big Ten wall.
That's amazing, Ben. We love it. We love it. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Coming back with Ben. There's like 3 or 4 games I want to get to, Schleich, so you got to tighten it up. I want to tell you about our friends at FanDuel. Get ready for the NFL season. Second week, offer you don't want to miss. New customers, bet just $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, $5. If it wins, you unlock $300 to bet all across the app. You can build parlays, player props, ride the live lines, whatever you're into. It's all there with FanDuel. The NFL season, it is here. Week 2 is upon us. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/bigplay to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Must be 21 and older and present in Ohio or Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. More with Ben Scott Stevens after this.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Who doesn't love having everything at their fingertips? With Pure AV's smart home automation, you can seamlessly manage your home's audio, video, lighting, security, and more, all with a simple touch. Create a sanctuary that embodies your unique style and personalized features that bring comfort to every moment. Sit back, relax, and let Pure AV bring convenience and control to your home. Visit us at pureavcorp.com today.
All right, there's three big games that we need to get to. There's really a fourth, but I'm going to focus on the big three, Ben. We've got South Florida and Miami. We are going to start there. A pretty substantial line for a team that has just had two pretty nice victories.
It is really interesting, Bobby, because this is the exact line that South Florida faced last week heading into the Swamp. They were a 17.5-point underdog. So I think the natural betting handicapping thought is if the odds makers are posting that number, there is a reason. Maybe some of that good luck, although I don't think it's luck that South Florida has been successful with this year, starts to wind down against the Miami team that looked great against Notre Dame and then played Bethune-Cookman in their second game of the year, handling the FCS foe as you would expect. Here is where I have belief that USF stays within this number. Are they going to win outright against a ranked foe to start a perfect 3-0? I'm not entirely sure. But this is why you believe in Alex Golesh. He led USF in his first 2 years to 7 wins, including bowl victories, the first ever South Florida head coach to lead the Bulls to bowl wins in back-to-back seasons to start off his tenure. We know Alex Golesh comes from that Tennessee system under Josh Heupel, is a very offensively minded guy who likes to play up tempo, run as many plays as possible. And Byron Brown has been his quarterback for all 2 years there in Tampa and looks stellar to start off this year, as we have seen in both the upsets against Boise State and, of course, last week against Florida. This is a guy that is going to put up at least 275 total yards and multiple total touchdowns in completely orchestrating the offense for USF. Miami has been causing some havoc, as we saw against Notre Dame, getting in the backfield, pulling off sacks, tackles for loss. They're one of 14 teams in college football right now with at least 15 TFLs through 2 games played. But USF's defense has taken a step as well. First 2 years under Alex Golesh, allowing at least 29 points per game. The last, what they have done so far this year, they've only given up 2 total touchdowns against the Broncos side that sure lost Ashton Genty, but you had Maddox Madsen back as the signal caller and a really good tailback in Sire Gaines that I thought maybe wouldn't live up to fully the expectation of Ashton Genty, but figure things out. The Broncos scored 1 touchdown in the opening quarter, blanked in the final 3 in Tampa in that debut on Thursday night. And last week against the high-powered offensive attack that is the Gators, USF allowed only a single score as well, at least a touchdown to Florida. I think USF stays within this football game because I have trust, not in this being an anomaly or an aberration, but in a USF team that has a much better defense than we have been accustomed to the last few years for the Bulls. And Byron Brown orchestrating the strings of that offense. Again, I'm not so sure it's another outright win for the number 18 team in the country over Miami, who I've been impressed with at least so far based on that result against Notre Dame. Carson Beck must keep the football in care. USF already 5 total turnovers in their 2 games this year. But I do think South Florida stays within the number on Saturday.
I'm pulling for him. Alex Golesh, Buckeye. So I got to pull for our guy. Let's go Clemson, Georgia Tech.
Yep.
Number 12 going to Georgia Tech.
Yep.
I think it's -9.5. Georgia Tech lost one the first game. LSU kind of like, you're a preseason. Like, we're going to win it all. And now you're going to Georgia Tech. What are you thinking on this game, Ben?
Interesting, Schlegs. And I just want to correct you, not that I'm trying to correct you, but a friend texted me this as well. For whatever reason, if you're looking at the ESPN app or ESPN's website, they're posting Clemson -9.5. I have no idea where that number is coming from because it's 3.5. And it opened at 6.5 when these lines became available for the week 3 slate. My friend texted me the same thing, Schlegs. So you are not alone. But on the actual sports books, it's a 3.5-point spread. But it's so interesting when you look at the market movement for this game because Clemson only being a 3.5-point dog, despite more than 70% of the betting handle on the Tigers from when the line opened up at 6.5 on Sunday afternoon. And yet it's worth 3 points to Georgia Tech. Now, here's one of the early betting trends that we have seen through the first 3 weekends of this college football season. If you have faded at least a 3-point move, meaning you think the market is overreacting to a line moving by 3 points or more, you are hitting at a 59% clip. I have shared with you guys, I think the Tigers reached the national championship game. I laugh when I say that because I have certainly lost some of that confidence in that preseason forecast after what we have seen out of the Tigers, mainly offensively so far through their first 2 games this year. But if Clemson is going to win the ACC and they still remain the favorites, if Clemson is going to get to 10 wins and even contend for a college football playoff spot, this is a game they have to have. And if it's now down to 3.5, albeit in Atlanta against the Yellow Jackets, who are 15-6 against the number as an underdog under Brent Key with 11 outright wins, the most among Power 4 programs since 2023, it has to happen. And it has to happen because of Cade Klubnik, who has done nothing utilizing his legs and has been atrocious throwing the football. Picks in back-to-back games to start this year against LSU and Troy. There wasn't a single time last year, guys, as Clemson won the ACC once again, that Klubnik had 2 consecutive games with an INT. Take care of the ball, be so much better offensively, and win this game, at least Clemson, by a touchdown to maybe reinstill some of that confidence I once had in the Tigers. But I also have Georgia Tech over their win total of 7.5. So happy with the start for the Bees as well.
Well, you need Klubnik to channel that inner Haynes King a little bit and use those legs. We got a couple minutes here, Ben. There's a bunch of games to get to, but the big one of the night, can Notre Dame get back on the winning track and get directed towards that college football playoff?
You know what's really interesting, Bobby? Somebody tweeted out that Notre Dame is the number 8 team in the country, and they haven't had a single win yet this year. And I was like, that's not – I mean, they didn't play in week 2. They are 0-1 and yet still an AP top 10 team, which is fascinating to me. Key for this game, I'll keep it quick because I do think Notre Dame wins by at least a touchdown at home against Texas A&M. Is Notre Dame establishing the run and Notre Dame establishing Jeremiah Love, who was notably absent 10 carries for 33 yards against Miami. Notre Dame only had 3.3 yards per pop. And I think you can take some things away from C.J. Carr looking poised in that first road start against Miami and being comfortable in this second matchup against an A&M team 0-2 against the number, getting tested by Utah State and UTSA and giving up a ton of rushing yards against the Roadrunners, meep, and the nation's leading rusher in Robert Henry Jr. to start this year. Got to be a Jeremiah Love game. 74-plus rushing yards is his prop on many of these sports books out there. Has to go through that number if Notre Dame is going to win comfortably in South Bend at home.
Before we get you out here, Ben, where can folks hear more of all this great information from you?
Thank you very much, Bobby. First off, the college football shirt making its way. Big Ten breakdown in partnership with the I-80 Club, focusing all on Big Ten football. And then I'm working with VSiN throughout this college football season, the Sports Betting Network, each and every Saturday, 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern time for live bets Saturday. Myself and Dustin Sweetelson have everything as we react to what we are seeing, give you live betting opportunities, and enjoy the fun and chaos that is college football.
Love it, Ben. We appreciate you. Get on out of here. You got more work to do. Thank you. We'll catch you up next week, sir.
Gents, have a great one. Thanks for having me as always.
That is our guy, Ben Scott Stevens.
He's the best.
I mean, I wanted to get to Florida, LSU.
And Georgia, Tennessee.
Exactly. Your degenerate rear end is asking about USC and Purdue.
I'm trying to find the value. I'm trying to help everybody because I'm looking at them. I'm like, dude, I'm taking New Mexico. I don't know. I am. For the Fighting Fernando Lobos.
Where can you watch that game?
I don't know. It's a Friday night banger, probably on the Peacock. I don't know.
Probably.
It's on the YouTube TV machine. It's on Netflix. Who knows? They're running everything. Everything is streaming. I don't know.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find this game.
You gotta go search in the bar.
Hold on. Friday night.
Big Ten After Dark.
I'm kind of proud of you for bringing that up. Ben was very proud because you saw the asymmetry in the market and were able to diagnose it.
See, thank you. I'm just looking. First off, I got the Fighting Fernando
at 10 o'clock strikes. This is going to be a bumpy one for you. Friday night, 10 o'clock, BTN. Can we make it up? Can you make it up to watch that? You're going to fall asleep like Roger with the sipper in your hand. You're going to spill the rest of your drink on yourself. You'll wake up at like 2:30. Did we win? Did we win? That's New Mexico, UCLA. And then that Purdue game, that's on CBS and Paramount Plus. Like, so you can check
That's his question. Honestly, do you think that I'm interested to see, because USC going on the road, coming to Purdue, and you and I have played there, and it's kind of terrible with the huge drums, all the things. Is their offense really that good? Can they go get a Big Ten win on the road by that margin? Because, they haven't really played anybody. So I'm hoping, but the real value is in New Mexico, UCLA.
I love it. I mean, Ben thinks the Bobcats can keep it within 33, which wouldn't shock me. Their defense is pretty stout. I don't think OU's offense will be able to score a whole bunch. They
No.
scored a decent amount against Rutgers.
That's different.
Really scored 17 against West Virginia. The thing was, Parker Navarro threw 3 picks in the second half of that game, Schlegs, and West Virginia still couldn't score, which
No doubt.
I don't know if that's an endorsement of the Bobcats defense or that's
is.
West Virginia. I think it's a little of both.
Both.
West Virginia's Schlegs, if you get 3 turnovers and you can't get a point, I mean, my goodness, that was it. Those are the numbers that happened.
I'm gonna go look it up. I'll tell you when we get back on the break of what is your winning percentage if you have that many turnovers.
Oh, dude.
Oh, it's right here. No, it's right here. Ball security, right here. -3. -3. 10% chance.
Yeah, of course.
-3, 10%. That's why I tell you guys, like if you are +1 in the turnover battle, you're 67%. If you are a +3, which this
+2 is like
right.
80, I think.
83%. +3, you're 89%.
Yeah.
-3, you're at 10%. And they pulled it off versus a Power 4 school.
We won a game when I was in Dallas, Schlegs, where I think we were -4. We were in like the very tail end of the distribution, but we offset that. We had like 8 explosive gains and we got an onside kick. And so that's why we had like enough on the other end of the scale to like counterbalance it.
Yeah.
So that obviously helped. But yeah, there was a game we played the Bills and beat them on Monday night. And I think we either had 5 we had 5 and either we got one back or got none. I think we were like the first team to either win -4 or maybe -5, but we did get that onside kick at the end of the game and made a game-winning field goal with no time left. Thank you, Mr. Nick Folk, and thank you, Tony Romo. Tony, oh my gosh, what was his last name? It'll come to me. He was our tight end that recovered the onside kick, which was amazing. So that's Buckeyes. There we go. Coming up next, we're going to do a new little segment we're going to start doing on Thursdays called Lift It or Leave It. Schlegs loves it because he likes to pump big weights and pretend like he's got a big chest, but who knows? His shoulders are bad, but he's got big chest.
I did. I'm ready, man.
All right, we got that.
Doing heavy.
Before we get there, Schlegs, we're going to tell them about our friends over at Export. Parents and athletes protect what matters most with Export mouthguards trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouthguards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. They feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber, custom 3D print that bad boy right to your grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication. Focus on your game, not on your gear. Our kids wear them. Yours kids should too. So you're not taking chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. We got Lift It or Leave It coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Refine your golf swing effortlessly right from the comfort of your home with Pure AV. There's no tee time required. Pure AV's full swing golf simulators capture your every move with precision, while realistic graphics and immersive environments bring the thrill of the greens indoors. Perfect for practice, play with friends, or hosting upscale events. Discover the flawless blend of sport and luxury. Book your consultation today at pureavcorp.com.
Welcome back in. It is the game Schlegs that's sweeping the nation. Lift it or leave it. Yeah, it's big. It's big time. And so I'm going to ask you some questions. You're going to answer them, and then I'm going to get to answer them. But I want to hear your thoughts on it first. Heading into the weekend, South Florida is the best group of 5 team in the country. Lift it or leave it.
I'm going to lift that. You beat 2 ranked teams. You're going to play another one. I mean, the gauntlet that you've had going into the ACC, it's because of Alec Golis, so I'm going to lift that.
You're not going to throw I guess New Mexico went 1-1. Tulane, pretty good team.
There's other good teams, Bob, but have they beat the teams that they beat?
Well, that's the thing. The one thing that, if you look at this, South Florida has 2 ranked wins, one of them on the road, and one of them was a bludgeoning of the 25th ranked team. And then you found a way, and there were some penalties and other things that helped you, but you played a clean game and your quarterback's playing well. And that defense for South Florida has been pretty darn good. And so while there may be some other teams that could stake claim to it, right now, the body of work, Schlegs, I don't really think it's close. I've got to go with the South Florida Bulls and our guy, Alex Golish. There really wasn't a question with that because we both love Alex. All right. Second question to lift it or leave it.
Okay.
Cy-Hawk game coming from a native Iowan, a native Iowan.
Yes.
I'm throwing this question to you. It is your birthplace, Dubuque. The Cy-Hawk
I was
game
born in Cedar Rapids.
Whatever, all the same. Peter Rapids. The Cy-Hawk game is the most underrated rivalry in college football.
Let's think of some good rivalries. SMU TCU. That's a good one. I would say this.
That's the battle for the iron skillet. You got to put a name on it.
Really good. I mean, people forget about Bob. Just throw up the Ohio State, Illinois, the Illabuck. I mean, what a rivalry. No, the Cy-Hawk.
That game every year anymore.
I know. The Cy-Hawk Trophy. That is a great rivalry. Interstate rivalry. Iowa State. It literally is 1950s football every single time. You love it. And so I do think it is an underrated rivalry. Who else would you consider to be an underrated rivalry?
Well, you just look at some of the ones in the Big Ten, and what I like about this is it's an intra-state rivalry, but it's different conferences. That's what I like. Like South Carolina and Clemson gives you that a little bit. Like Kentucky and Louisville gives you that. Like different conferences, same state. Now, you used to have that in the Florida schools because Miami was in the Big East, Florida State was in the ACC, and then Florida was in the SEC. So you had them all churning around. Well, now two of them are in the ACC. So I think it changes a little bit. It's a game, Schlegs, has been played since 1894. I mean, how about that?
Pretty long. So are you lifting that? Are you lifting that or leaving it?
Hold on. I'm going to get to it, Schlegs. There's the prestige, the reveal. Oh, by the way, Pat, my guy, Tony Curtis recovered our onside kick with Dallas. I'll get to that here in a minute. Iowa has dominated this series, though. That's what's crazy. If you look at it now, as of late, Iowa State has kind of taken the reins. They've won 3 of the last 4, but for a long time, you look at outside of a run with Seneca Wallace in the late 90s, Iowa has dominated this series. Holy, I can't even look at how many wins it is, but I bet they've won 75% of them, if not more. I'm going to lift this because people get down on it because there's not a lot of points being scored, Schlegs, and it looks kind of ugly. And it's like first team to double digits usually has a good chance at winning this game. You say that kind of half jokingly, but it's a lot of fun. It's a coach that's been there for a long time, and Kirk Ferentz, like this might be his last season at Iowa. You look on the other side of that, what they've got going in Ames, and you've got a coach from the great state of Ohio over there, and you feel good about that. I'm going to lift this because it feels a little bit old school to me. I like that old school feel of it.
You're saying that it's underrated. So everybody out there, don't come at us.
I'm not saying it's the best rivalry in college.
We know that there's really good ones out there. Yeah. We're just saying it's one of the most underrated.
I think it's one of the most underrated. Maybe that's a little Midwest bias here and like Big Ten bias. And the fact that Matt Campbell's doing a great job at Iowa State, they feel good about that. All right. We're going to go. This is a big question here. Last one. UCLA is the worst team in the Big Ten.
Oh my gosh.
Or leave it.
This is hard because Northwestern is pretty terrible.
Are they worse though than Purdue, even though Purdue's 2-0? Or is this a newfound exuberance for Purdue?
I think UCLA, I don't know what's going on there. When Chip left that program to come be the offensive, honestly, think about this, guys. Man left the head coaching job to come be a coordinator. Probably 1, because he wanted to coach. 2, because it's probably terrible. And so I'm going to say, yes, they are. And they will definitively be that when they're 0-3 because of Fighting Fernando Lobos, the AD at New Mexico.
That's my guy. Man. You're losing at home to New Mexico. Like, that would be rough.
It's going to happen.
I mean, Rutgers
I'm
is
hoping
2-0, but they're not great. Minnesota, they're good this year. Like I look at Northwestern, you said is pretty bad, but they do have a win under their belt. If you go 0-3 in the non-conference legs, that's pretty bad. Now Northwestern did get smacked.
They beat Western Illinois though,
Yeah,
Bob.
Northwestern got
they
smoked.
lost to Tulane.
I know. They didn't lose. They got mollywopped by Tulane.
They got smoked 23-3 by Tulane in Tulane, and they disrespected the people of New Orleans.
I know they did. I mean, that's not great.
So they got thumped. And I love them because Tim McGargle, the D coordinator, is my guy.
I know. It's tough, though. It's tough. All right, we're going to tell you about our friends over at Backer, bckr.com. Elite gear for elite fans, premium gear for premium fans. They're founded to make better quality fan gear. The stuff that looks good, feels good. It's got all the features that you love, and it's getting to that point in the year. Now, it's going to be a little warmer this weekend in Columbus, but they've got other teams, if you're interested in that thing. They've got them all over the place, but they've got great Buckeye stuff, Oregon, Texas. They're there for you, bckr.com. Go check them out. Use promo code all caps Bobby at checkout for free expedited shipping. bckr.com. Go check them out. We got our headlines coming up next.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Smart home automation has never looked so good. When you visit the Pure AV Design Center, you'll be immersed in the epitome of sophistication and state-of-the-art home automation technology. Flawless design, exquisite materials, unparalleled craftsmanship. You deserve nothing less than the pinnacle of perfection. Discover what you've been missing at Pure AV on Killian Road in Akron or online at pureavcorp.com.
Welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. Important little note.
Yeah,
we go through a little side nugget. Trayvon Henderson, Buckeye, some news in his life and what's going on. As we go through that. But the Buffalo Bills game, it was October 8th, 2007. Cowboys built the Bills on Monday Night Football, 25-24. Romo threw 5 picks and lost a fumble. I think we got one turnover back, so we were -5. Tony Curtis recovered the onside kick. You want to talk about a day. I mean, it was atrocious. I don't know how we won that game. I'm sure Bills fans aren't sure how we won that game. They wanted revenge for the 2 Super Bowls the Cowboys took out on them, and they didn't get it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's bumpy, man.
Yeah.
That's bumpy.
So the number
got you back in the game.
So here's what Wade Phillips would always tell us, and you can say what you want, because I think there's a good point of what you're saying. I mean, you're +2, 67%, or +1, 67, +2, 83, +4, 89, +2,
89.
+2 is 83, +3 is 89% of winning. But he goes, if you believe those numbers, if you go down -3, I mean, do you believe that you're going to be in that 11%? He goes, so believe that you're going to be in that 11% and always believe that there's a pathway to victory. And I did respect that. I like that about my guy, Wade, looking at that. So that was part of it. We're going to throw up here our guy, Trayvon Henderson, second-round draft pick of the New England Patriots. People are loving him in the preseason. Hopefully he's going to get rolling here in a big way. Huge congrats to him, Schlegs, getting engaged. How about that? To his longtime girlfriend. Trey was a leader at Ohio State. I watched him have a huge metamorphosis here. It was so great to see the development of him as a human being, not just as a football player, which happened. A lot of development as a football player, but developing as a human being. And so he put up Proverbs 31:30. Charm is a deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. And so kudos to those lovebirds, Schlegs.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this too. And going back to the maturation of him, New England's just got to get him the ball. I think he only had 5 touches last game. He had a couple out of the backfield for receiving, but he's a difference maker. But my biggest thing with Trey and his development and growth was just kind of what he did and going from like his freshman, sophomore year to his junior year and just listening to Mick, and then into his senior year. And then when Ryan Day said, hey, we have an opportunity of bringing on Quinshon Judkins, what do you think? He's like, absolutely. and the competitive excellence and the pushing that he did of Q, of like, hey man, make me better, and challenging and good versus good and beating him, right? And like sled pushes and beating him. And then all of a sudden you watch how Q started to win some. And he good job, bro. Like he wanted that. That's why he was able to have success and put himself in an opportunity to have success in the NFL. Excited for this opportunity now for him too.
Absolutely, Schlegs. He wanted all that smoke and he got it, and has done a great job. That's it for our headlines. I want to tell you about our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing. They've got the experience you're looking for, over 100 years of marketing experience to choose their marketing strategies, tools, products that are going to be right for your business. They're going to shield you from all the cold callers and trying to pitch you the latest and greatest ideas. Leave the marketing to them so that you can do what you do best, which is run your business. Lake Spur Marketing, they're going to eliminate the waste, get the most out of your budget. Trust the experts. Trust Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in their partners. Visit them online at lakespurmarketing.com. Coming up next, we've got our tailgate talk where we answer some of your questions and bring some of your comments to light right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Who doesn't love having everything at their fingertips? With Pure AV's smart home automation, you can seamlessly manage your home's audio, video, lighting, security, and more, all with a simple touch. Create a sanctuary that embodies your unique style and personalized features that bring comfort to every moment. Sit back, relax, and let Pure AV bring convenience and control to your home. Visit us at pureavcorp.com today.
All right, welcome back in to the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlegs. Got some comments from our show the other day, taking a look at it. It said, great show, boys. Love how this team has played in the first two games. Just hope we can continue to do so on the road. Going to find out in Seattle. Keep building, developing. Way to go, Buckeyes. I think Seattle's good, Schlegs. They've got Seattle. Washington is good. I know we've got a bye week, and then we've got them. I'm just not certain. I think they've got some good components, but I don't know if it has to be that close when they get out there. And so I know that Washington, you look at them and what they did last year, I just don't think they have in totality what you need and what they've had in the past.
I ain't worried about them. Here's the thing to me. When you go out and how this season's set up for Ohio State, it's set up perfect. Good on good. Texas, Grambling. Now we got OU, good football team at night on the Peacock, right? Bye week, Big Ten play on the road. Great. You got 2 weeks to go prepare a kid to go in and play on the road at Washington. You don't have to make it close. But what you do, and I think it goes back to, and why I like the mindset of Ryan Day right now, younger team, you are on a race to get better. And if you keep that main thing that every single day I am trying to improve, it keeps you engaged on the present and not about the future. And especially having an extra week to go in and prepare for going on the road, I think they're going to be able to handle their business.
Something else we've talked about, and this came from, we got Jabril Fisher, maybe.
Okay.
Looking at this, said Bo Jackson and Graham, meaning Mylan Graham, starters reps. And we've talked about this. Like, if you're going to give them starters reps, who are you taking off the field? Like, that's one of the tough parts for the coaches, Schlegs, and the skill positions. There's only one ball. You got Brandon Ennis, who's looked pretty good, Carnell Tate, who's been really good, and Jeremiah Smith. Like, I love Mylan Graham, and you're going to try to get him in there more. But saying he needs starters reps, that's a tough pull.
You know what? It is their job to make sure that the coaches question, do we give them starter reps? That's kind of the point, guys. And to me, you look at it as, man, what a blessing and what an abundance of talent that we have. And guess what, coaches? continue to develop your guys so that they make it challenging week in and week out. And guess what? It is healthy for you to have starters that were like, man, this guy is like getting better. He's making the most out of every opportunity. That I better make sure that I'm as consistent and making the most out of every single opportunity I have to make sure that I keep my starter reps. That's the point. That's when you have a really healthy culture, which they do at Ohio State.
Absolutely. And then the Bo Jackson situation, they've talked about it. We'll get into it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday with Ryan Day, and you heard some of the comments he made. They're on the race to improve. And, when you fumble at the end of the game, and I think he said the things you see on the field are the things that you see at practice. And that's good and bad. And so it's all the good stuff you do, Schlegs, at practice, all the positive things that you pour in. And then if you do some of the things at practice that may not be great, those things will also show up on the field. That's for anyone, anywhere, anytime.
Guys, we work on situational football all the time. They talk about that. Like there was no reason for him to reach out. We discussed it earlier, Bob. That ball goes to the end zone. It's a touchback. And now, you negated an opportunity, but what happens if you're put into a meaningful game and that happens? It's not just scrambling. It's about going out there and showing what you can do and doing it the right way based upon the way that you've been coached. Yes, does he look really explosive? 100%. Does he hit the hole hard? Love the way that he runs the football. But if it also is going on at practice, he's also a true freshman. He's working on these things. And guess what? It doesn't have to happen right now. Continue to press forward, continue to chase improvement, continue to show when your opportunity is called. And guess what? You can do that in practice. I'm just saying. So get more consistent. That's all it is. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I like it.
Absolutely. All right. That is it for this edition of Tailgate Talk. Coming up next, Schlegs, we're going to wrap up the show with your parting thoughts.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Refine your golf swing effortlessly right from the comfort of your home with Pure AV. There's no tee time required. Pure AV's full swing golf simulators capture your every move with precision, while realistic graphics and immersive environments bring the thrill of the greens indoors. Perfect for practice, play with friends, or hosting upscale events. Discover the flawless blend of sport and luxury. Book your consultation today at pureavcorp.com.
Final segment of the program, Schlegs. Let's hear what you got for us today.
For game day comfort, call Carpenter Columbus. And here's what I love about this. I wanted to show this image. No, this is beautiful. 1, you look quite handsome. 2, you're swole as hell. 3, why are you eating pizza? I know that's not you.
What is that? Balls, I think.
You got some cheese balls. You got some garage beer. You're tugging on your wrench. I don't know what you're doing that right there. Maybe you got a side project to the left. I can't see behind the TV. But I do want to say, to make this more realistic, I was looking for the vertical pendant lights of your parents' nice living room. That would have been ideal. I wish they would have put that in there with maybe then the banner, and maybe it said even, Miami of Ohio on it with another Ohio State flag. But I just want to say I like that little cartoon art.
Absolutely.
42.
Little caricature, Schlegs. I love the jersey. Wear the T-shirt with my number on it all around. Wear it proudly.
Why all the time? You're at your kids. The other day you're at your kids' football practice, rocking your 42. Hey, everybody, just make sure you know who I am. You're going to a tennis match. Oh, hey, Bob, I didn't recognize you except for your 42 T-shirt. I'm so happy you wore that.
Yeah, just in case you didn't know. Now my son wears my jersey to the game, so he's got that.
Awesome.
For him.
You should.
It's fun. It's fun to see. Well, he's got one of the new ones, Schlegs, that they cut up and made for me, so it looks good and fits him well. That's it for today's show. Stay locked in here. We got a big Friday coming up for you here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
Smart home automation has never looked so good. When you visit the Pure AV Design Center, you'll be immersed in the epitome of sophistication and state-of-the-art home automation technology. Flawless design, exquisite materials, unparalleled craftsmanship. You deserve nothing less than the pinnacle of perfection. Discover what you've been missing at Pure AV on Killian Road in Akron or online at pureavcorp.com.